any Patriots fans watching, we know what good football is. We watched it for 2 decades. This was not good football. Just wasn't. It was painful to watch in many, many aspects. And I think a lot of it starts with the coaching. I think we can get right into that right now. Fat Patricia. My God. My God. I wanted to blow my brains out almost every single week watching this man. If I see another 3rd and 12 screen, I am going to scream. The 3rd and 10
You do not want Cliff Kingsbury to get hired, though.
Absolutely not. The 3rd and 12 double screen pisses me off more than anything. Fake it to the right to Stevenson, then turn around and try and fake it to Judon on the other side, or Jonnu on the other side. And by that time, the defense is going by you because guess what? Offensive linemen are going out to block, so you're using some of them in the screen. So Mac looks and he goes, "Let me throw it to the second guy," and there's 3 guys on him. And I'm like, What are we doing? Like you cannot allow this. The amount of did you know that they scored 98 fewer points this year than last year? Scored 17 fewer touchdowns on offense from this year to last year.
I'm surprised it's that close to it was last year. It did not seem like they were even in the same stratosphere as last year's team offensively.
Oh, they weren't. I mean,
no.
The Cam Newton offense scored more touchdowns than this one. Think about that. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's absolutely mind-boggling. Sorry, Jaclyn. I think.
But this just you're totally fine. This just goes to show just how pivotal Josh McDaniels was in this system, because without him, you can totally see the difference in the offense. The offense truthfully does not move without Josh McDaniels, and it's just so frustrating to watch, especially with a quarterback who you know is going to go into a sophomore slump. Most, if not all, second-year quarterbacks do. You need someone who he can trust on offense, and you could tell throughout the year Mac Jones just did not trust Matt Patricia's play calling. He was calling his own plays half the time, it seemed like. And that's just not something that you want a 24-year-old quarterback to be doing. He is not the second coming of Tom Brady. We know this clearly by now. We do not want him calling his own plays at this moment in his career, or perhaps ever in his career.
Before I let Jordan go, I just want to say one of the things that kind of stood out to me this year was the fact that there really wasn't much change on the offense. If you want to look at just like strictly personnel, right? They switched out Shaq Mason for Cole Strange, and obviously flipped the guard, so they put on Wenu at right and Strange at left guard. They added Devontae Parker to the wide receiver core, and basically everybody else was the same. Ramondre got another year, and he was great. Damian Harris was still here.
Taekwon, who played a little bit.
Great point. They added in Tyquan Thornton, still had Aguilar, still had Jacoby Myers. The tight ends were the same. Literally, they added. That's the only thing they did was add on offense for personnel, and they changed the coaching. And I know there were a lot of people ready to crucify Josh McDaniels on his way out the door. Thank God he's gone. Thank God he's out of here. I'm so sick of watching the screenplays. Guess what you guys got? You guys got Matt Patricia. Like he was the alternative. And we will talk about this at the end in terms of like going forward. I'm not sold on Bill O'Brien becoming the next offensive play caller for this team. I think the butt chin stinks. I think he's not that good. He doesn't help Alabama. I've watched a lot of Alabama football over the last couple of years. He does not help them as much as you would think, but he's miles better than Matt Patricia, because at least he's an offensive mind. One of the ways that I heard it described, actually, you know what? I'm going to let Jordan talk. You haven't gone in a while. I'm going to bring something up afterwards, but I want to see what you think about the coaching as a whole. We'll start on offense, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, I tweeted this during the Bills game, and I was a little bit hyperbolic calling Matt Patricia the best defensive-minded assistant coach on the team. Steve Belichick's a really good defensive coordinator. I mean, 3 top 5 defenses in 4 years. I mean, the resume speaks for itself, and I mean, maybe a lot of it's Gerard Mayo too, whatever. Anyway, it's one thing to build around your defense on the field, like with the roster and the players, and you're like, okay, our offense is going to be okay, and our defense is going to win us a lot of football games. It's a different thing to have defensive coach as your offensive coordinator, a special teams coach, so essentially another defensive coach, as your quarterback's coach, and then you obviously have your defensive coaches as well. It was just really stupid. Altogether, it made no sense, and it was like, I really don't even know like what logic went into the Matt Patricia hire in particular.
None.
Like in my mind, I'm thinking, like, is he trying to, like, groom him into being a better head coach in the future because it's like now we can see the other side of the ball? Or are they just trying to get, like, a little bit too creative with having a defensive mind? I have no idea. I tried to justify it a lot in the beginning because the first, like, 4 or 5 weeks, you could see improvement They were sustaining drives against Pittsburgh, especially late. They had the 7-minute drive that iced that game. They played really well, I thought, all things considered, with Hoyer and Zappi against Green Bay. I thought they were really good in that game. I thought they played really well against the Lions offensively with Zappi again. It was really weird watching them kind of improve, and then when Matt came back, it was like Matt Patricia ran straight into a wall, got super mega concussed, and forgot what football even was, let alone offense. It's like
he got distracted by a buffet.
Yeah, a typical run-of-the-mill MLG Madden player could have probably called a better offense than Matt Patricia did this season. And Matt Patricia's an actual NFL coach, and that's embarrassing. And that speaks volumes to Bill's ability to hire on his staff. He's just hiring his buddies and his family, and it's bad. It's really bad.
Well, I saw something come out today that Bill Belichick said that there's going to be changes on the offensive side of the coaching staff specifically. So I guess, not to throw a curveball, but who would you guys want to see calling plays next year? If it's not someone on this staff currently, which personally I don't think it is, who would that be?
Are we talking realistically or pipe dream? Because I have a pipe dream.
I mean, realistically.
I don't think you can get any more realistic than Bill O'Brien at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Pipe dream, I want the Lions guy. I want Ben Johnson. That guy calls a great game. He made Jared Goff look good down the stretch. I don't think you can ask for much more than that. I want to push back a little bit on the defensive thing, though. I'm going to read you guys a list of the quarterbacks the Patriots beat this season. I want you to tell me if any of them are good. So we got Mitch Trubisky, Jacoby Brissett, Zach Wilson again, Colt McCoy, Bridgewater / something named a Skylar Thompson, Sam Ehlinger, and Jared Goff. One of those quarterbacks ended the year as the starter. I guess you can make it two because Sam Ehlinger started their last game of the season, but he stinks. We all know he stinks.
Hey,
quarterbacks they lost to this year? Yeah?
I'm going to say Jacoby Brissett, I think, is actually pretty good.
He was better than Deshaun Watson, but he still didn't end the season starting. So
that's true.
Yeah, Brissett and Goff are the only two on that list that are legitimate NFL caliber quarterbacks. And
the quarterbacks that they lost to? Yeah, so the quarterbacks are something called the Skylar Thompson, who will start and get smacked by the Bills on Saturday. But the quarterbacks they lost to this season: Burrow, Rodgers, Lamar, Tua, Allen, Fields, Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, and Allen again. Anytime you face an even moderately good quarterback, you lose. I think that the defense had a wildly overhyped season. I appreciate the defensive touchdowns. They're great and all. First of all, you shouldn't be counting on them, and this Patriots team absolutely was down the stretch. How often are you going to ask your defense to go and score you a touchdown? Second of all, again, I just read off the list of quarterbacks, and they were 0-8, I think, when giving up 20-plus points, or 0-9 when giving up 20-plus points to an opponent. Part of that is the offense. I get that. But I don't think the defense was anything to write home about, because especially in big moments when they needed to stop, think just about last Sunday against the Bills, you had that, I think there was a chop block penalty, so they were down, they were backed up, it was 3rd and 10, 64 yards down the sideline to Diggs or whatever it was, touchdown. When you needed to stop in big moments this year.
Oh no, it was Diggs.
Yeah. And you're right though, they had the Brown touchdown later on. You needed to stop against Rodgers in Lambeau, couldn't get it. You got one, and then you couldn't get the second one, which at that point you really needed, because again, Zappi was coming in relief at that point. Needed to stop against the Bears, couldn't do it. Needed to stop against the Dolphins, couldn't do it early in the season. This defense was god-awful on 3rd down, if I'm not mistaken. But when it comes to the offense, I'm going to circle back because I had to get that defensive point out. I think what good offensive coordinators do, and I think Josh McDaniels understood this better than maybe a lot of guys in the league, is forget trying to call plays to face a certain defense. This is what I think Matt Patricia was doing. It's a small change in philosophy, but it's huge. Matt Patricia saw a defense that, okay, they're bringing in cover 2, or they're going to blitz. I'm going to call this play to combat that because that's the best play for that defense. That's how defensive guys think, because defense is all about matching what your opponent brings out on offense. What offensive guys do is say, how do I get my players in the best position to succeed? How can I get my guys going? Yeah, maybe a slant isn't necessarily the right play to call against a zone defense, but Jacoby Myers has been real cold so far this game. I need to just get him a touch. He can break a tackle. Maybe he can get going from that. I want to put my players in a position to succeed. I'm not going to just keep running whatever the play is with whatever personnel I have. If I know Ramondre Stevenson's better at breaking tackles in the open field, I'm not going to send him to run it up the gut 65 billion times when Damian Harris is hurt. I'm going to put him on the edges where he can make guys miss and make it really effective. Matt Patricia did not do a good job of that. Any offensive guy worth his salt can. And that's why I agree with Jordan. It was just inexcusable from the start. Anyone with a brain knew that this wasn't going to work out. And lo and behold, guess what? It didn't. Whoa. Mind-boggling.
The thing that I find so incredible about it is it looked for a bit like he was starting to figure out how to be an offensive coordinator, because they, like I said, they were improving week to week until Mac came back against the Bears. And then they even flashed with those 2 zappy drives, especially the first one. It was so strange. I don't understand what happened in that Bears game, but just all of a sudden, they just couldn't move the football anymore. It was so mind-boggling to me.
I'll tell you what it is. I think people much smarter than me have done a lot more on this than I have, but just from my memory and listening to people talk, it seems like they were running 2 different playbooks. I don't know how you can do that at this level. I don't know how you can do that. They featured so much more play action for Bailey Zappi. It felt like every other snap he was going play action, and he hit Jacoby Myers on the seam, or whatever. Didn't really feel like they did that with Mac all that much. You know when they did it a lot? This past Sunday. You know what they did in the first half on Sunday? They looked pretty damn good. They had 2 touchdowns against a pretty good Bills defense. Mac was, I think, 9 of 9 on play action for 100+ and a touchdown.
Yeah, he was 9 for 9. Yeah, 9 of 9. I think it was 116 and a touchdown on play action. And I saw, I think it was Brian Barrett tweeted it. He was like, how on earth did it take 18 weeks for you to realize, or I guess 16 with Mac, or 15 with Mac, whatever. I think it was 15 with Mac, where it took you 15 weeks with Mac Jones to realize, oh, this MFer can throw the ball out for play action, because pretty much everyone can. You did it with Bailey Zappi.
I don't understand. I don't understand. It makes no sense.